Hey, Scott Machine Gun Dad. Welcome back to this channel. I don't even know if YouTube's going to let this one go, but we'll try it anyway. A couple of my followers, commenters have said that I should tell police stories. I don't really like telling police stories because they're not always happy. If you've ever met a police officer when he wasn't working, or you've dealt with him and he's been a little gruff, or he acts like he doesn't give a shit, I'm going to give you 3 stories that I've had that I was an officer for 26 and a half years, almost all on the road. These 3 stories still stick with me. First one, I had a year on the job. I got sent to a car pedestrian accident. A 16-year-old girl had run down a 14-year-old boy, and he was alive when I got there. So they were tending to him. Now this was down when I was stationed in Greensburg. I get there, they're still working on him. I'm holding his hand, and he goes still. And they load him up in the ambulance, and I said, is he going to be okay? Is he going to recover? Oh, we don't know, but we think he's going to be okay. So I just had a feeling, right? So I went out, and I usually back then you would just clear the road. I took a spray can and marked where the tires were on the car and where his body was laying and stuff. I got to the hospital. Turned out he had died when I was holding his hand. His parents were divorced, so I had to go tell his mother and his stepdad he was dead. I had to go tell his father and his stepmother he was dead. And then I had to go tell the 16-year-old girl who was so upset that she ran the boy over, whose parents were there, that he was dead, and she was probably going to be prosecuted by homicide by vehicle. So that was a year and 2 months after I was on the job. Subsequently, go 20 years, and a lot of other shit happened, but these are the 3. It's Mother's Day. We get a call down, this is when I'm in Newcastle, we get a call down to Enon Valley. A young girl was driving home the night before, probably intoxicated, driving a Blazer. She went off the road. She had really long brown hair. She went out through the open sunroof, which she didn't have a seatbelt on. She flew out on the Jagger bushes, and she was going fast enough that the Jagger bushes from Pennsylvania, you'll know what Jagger bushes are, grabbed her hair and broke her neck. So she was laying dead on top of the Jagger bushes like she was sleeping. So we get there, the troopers doing the measurements, we've got the coroner coming and everything like that. So I grab one of the young troopers and we're going to go tell the family, because, you know, I'm the senior guy, it's my job. I'm the supervisor. So I drive. If I get choked up, sorry. So we drive to Elwood City where Mom lives, and I don't remember the family name, and I don't want to say it here because I don't want to cause them any hardship. Say the girl's name was Jones, and I go up and there's a lady out there and she's polishing her car in front of the address. And I said, is this the Jones residence? She said, no, I'm Mrs. Smith, I'm remarried. My daughter's name is so-and-so Jones. I said, oh, well, can we talk to you? We need to go inside. And so, no, I want to talk to you. Tell me, why are you here? And I'm like, well, what's going on? You know, why? She says, I'm polishing my car because my daughter's coming over in an hour to take me out for Mother's Day. I said, ma'am, we really need to go inside. So she starts walking up to the driveway, and she turns around and says, you need to tell me what's going on. I said, ma'am, we need to get inside. So we get inside, and in the back of their garage, it was like 3 steps, and they had a raised area in the back where it had like shelves where you would put canned fruit and stuff, and it went right into the kitchen. So we're in this little enclosed area almost to her kitchen, and she spins around. She says, you know, swears at me a little bit and says, you tell me why you're here. Where's my daughter? And I said, you know, what are you going to do? You got to tell her. And I said, ma'am, your daughter was killed in a car accident last night. We found her this morning. Down she goes. So I caught her. I picked her up. She was a little lady. Picked her up, carried her over, put her in a kitchen chair. I'm going to get worked up about this one. So I'm trying to get her in and out. Now I've done, say, 200 or 300 death notifications before this. So this one is like, why is she taking this so hard? Because the daughter was, you know, 24, 25. So she wakes up, and she tells me she's remarried. She has no other children except this girl from a previous marriage. It's only the only kid she has, the only blood relative she has. Her parents are dead. This is the only blood she has on the planet, and that girl's dead now on frickin' Mother's Day. So, what am I going to do? She keeps passing out. I have to stay there. So, I finally got the name of her ex-in-laws, the girl's grandparents. And I was able to get them to come and take care of her because her husband was out of town on a business trip. I couldn't leave her there. She was despondent. Had to leave, do her thing. To this day, when I drive to Elwood City, I get a knot in my chest. Last story, the worst story. I worked in a place called Newcastle, Pennsylvania when I was a trooper. We had the county around the city. The city had a drug war going on, lots of drugs. And I routinely helped the city. I love hunting druggies. Well, I get a call from the chief of police in the city, often on an afternoon shift. And, Corporal, we need some help. No problem. You got it. How many cars do you need? You know, we have a really bad shooting. So I go down to Chestnut Street in the city, and I get there, and the chief's there, and I walk in, and I'm like, so, usually they don't call us. I volunteer, but they don't always call us. He said, this is Trooper so-and-so's daughter. I'm like, what? Yeah, this is one of your trooper's daughters that got shot. This is what happens. She's in with a bad crew. The kid that is her boyfriend is playing with what I believe is a stolen gun. It goes off, it hits her in the middle of the chest. She is still alive. And they drag her out into the street and leave her in the street because they had to get the drugs and the guns out of the money out of the house because it was a drug house. So while she's bleeding out in the street, the neighbors call, the ambulance comes, and these guys are all bailing out of this because the police are coming. So I got a couple of my guys, and we set up a perimeter and blocked streets off because you had to call R&I. And then I went up to the hospital, and me and a patrolman, Richie Conti, good guy, we're standing on the end of the exit, on the edge of the ER. Now, there's an evidence chain on any evidence, and I knew the city was good, but I just wanted to dot the I's because it was our people. So they had the girl on the gurney, and the hospital was doing their very best to save her. As fast as they were pumping the blood into her, it was puddling up on the vinyl mat she was laying on and running out onto the floor, and they were standing in her blood trying to save her life, and she died. I watched her freaking die. And then her dad had got there, and I had just worked with him, and I had to walk around down the end of the hallway and tell a guy I really liked that his daughter was dead. So, those are my 3 stories. So the next time you think a police officer's a little cold, I don't think you really have any idea what they had to deal with. Not a very pleasant story, but it's the truth. I hope it touches somebody's soul. Thanks again.